line is we all want the same thing when it comes to GCSEs. We want our kids to do well. Kids want to do well, we want them to do well, and parents and carers want them to do well. Everybody wants the same thing and we get that. Problem is that people want it in different ways. So often we find with teenagers they want, or they kind of expect that it will go well, and they don't necessarily understand at GCSE quite how much work there is involved in revising and being present in school and worrying less about friendships, more about the work, being confident, asking questions. And as parents and as tutors, we know that, but the students don't always know that. Some do, some don't. Some students know exactly what they want to do. They know they're looking for 8s and 9s. They know they want to go study medicine. They know what A levels they want to do, and they're really just cracking on. Other students don't really know what they want to do, and they're okay to get by. They're not worried. They don't want the highest results, or at least they say they don't, but perhaps they're more nervous that they might not get them and they don't want to put themselves out there. So there's lots of different reasons people feel different ways about their GCSEs, but the bottom line is that everybody does fundamentally want to do well. They want to do their best, whatever that specific best is for them. And we've been working with students for a long time with their GCSEs and working with parents who are trying to support them, because one of the things is that parents find it hard to support when they don't always know exactly what the courses are about. Perhaps particularly in science, we find parents don't understand the science, or they haven't done it for ages themselves, and then they're manically trying to look it up themselves. So what we do know about students is students are absolutely amazing at looking like they're revising and looking like they're working. You might have a student who goes off up to their room to do hours and hours of revision, and they might be doing amazingly, and they might be getting the top grades and getting everything they deserve, and hats off to them and to you. But it's not always the case. Often students are, and often they're upstairs pretending to work and they're not actually doing anything. They're on social media, they're doing things completely different. But that's not always the case either. Often students are up there trying to revise, trying to work, but they're not doing it effectively. They're not actually doing anything that improves their grades. Rather, they're just passively reading over notes or not really sure how to properly engage. The other thing we find is that students don't revisit things enough. They feel like once they've done it once, it's done. And they don't have a really good understanding of how memory works and how many times we have to revisit something for it to actually become something that we can remember for an extended period of time. And the more we can remember in advance of exams, the better, and the easier we can recall it, and therefore the easier we can apply it. The other thing we find with students all the time is they don't do the hard things. So students have a real tendency to visit the things that they understood and that they knew and they got in the lessons, and then they leave the stuff that they didn't know. And if we think about it, that's everyday life, isn't it? We put off doing things like recording videos rather than writing emails, because it's more difficult and more uncomfortable to record a video. It's much easier to write an email. So it's completely understandable that our kids are doing that as well. They're putting off the harder things and going forward with the easy things first. So we know that there are lots of things that are inefficient about the way that students revise and the way that we support them as parents and as tutors. You might be thinking to yourself, who are we to know this and how have we found this out? So we are MD Learning. I'm Nicole, my business partner Beth. You'll see her on different videos and around on the website. We are mums to 6 kids, so we've got 6 boys between us, ranging from 3 up to 18. So we've got lots of kids between us and lots of experience in science. We're both doctors from science background, so I have a PhD in biochemistry. Beth also has a PhD as a postdoc. She works in a university now and does hours and hours of tutoring a week. I have been a science teacher, I've been a head of department in many schools and a deputy head teacher and assistant head teacher, school leadership for years, and again, as well as Beth, tutoring for a long time now. So we really are experienced in this area. And we really want to help you and your children to succeed at their science GCSEs. So what we're going to do over the coming few days, we're going to be sending out some emails that really focus down on these 3 problems that students come across. The not knowing exactly what it is they need to do, not knowing when to do it, and not really knowing how to do it. We're going to send some emails and some video content to help you to support your children to overcome that, so that they can really focus on their study and their revision well and effectively, to make the most out of their time to get the highest possible grades that they can. And of course we'll share with you some of the programs that we've put together and some of the things we're working on where we can perhaps work together.